The city of Orvex shimmered under twin suns, tall towers reflecting light like mirrors across the sky. Humans moved through the streets with purpose but calmness, their faces showing curiosity and calm, not fear. Children laughed as small machines floated beside them, carrying food or toys. Traders called to each other across the bustling squares, and the smell of fresh bread mixed with the metallic scent of the city. Humanity was known across the galaxy as Harmless. Traders, explorers, and diplomats had called them friendly and curious. They never fought unless forced, and no one feared their strength. On the outer edge of the city, a communications tower hummed softly. Signals from distant colonies arrived and were transmitted across the city. Scientists monitored the data, checking energy readings and population reports. Suddenly the tower flickered, lights turning bright and then dark. Screens that displayed messages from neighboring planets went blank. Alarmed engineers ran to the control panels, pressing buttons and speaking into microphones that gave no reply. All communications had stopped. Commander Lira stood on a platform overlooking the city. Her hair was tied back, eyes sharp and calculating. She had been called to investigate strange signals from the edge of the galaxy, signals that no one could explain. She felt unease in her stomach. The human colonies were spread across thousands of planets, but now they were silent. Planets that once sent greetings and trade requests now had no response. The silence was complete and unnatural. The first report came from the planet Vera. It had been a small colony, mostly scientists and miners. Normally they sent daily messages about mineral discoveries or research findings. Today, nothing. Then another planet, Lethis, went dark. And another, Bravon. Each report arrived slower than the last, each one ending with only silence. Lira paced back and forth on the platform. Something was wrong, something that no human had faced before. In the observatory above the city, an unusual signal appeared on the scanners. It was not human, not from any known colony or ship. The signal was sharp and strange, almost like a warning hidden in code. Lira leaned over the console, her fingers tracing the lines of energy that pulsed in blue and green across the screen. The signal had coordinates, and a single word repeated over and over in alien symbols. The translators worked quickly, and the message became clear. It read, "They are coming." The city below continued its normal pace, unaware of the danger approaching. Lira felt the weight of responsibility press on her shoulders. She called a meeting with the Council of Scientists and military advisors. The room was large, filled with holographic maps of the galaxy, charts of energy flows, and records of human colonies. No one spoke at first. The council members had heard rumors of alien threats before, but nothing like this. This silence was total, and that scared them. One young scientist, Taro, broke the quiet. He pointed at the map, showing planets that had gone dark one by one. "Commander, these are all within the sector of the Nebra expanse. Every planet is falling silent in sequence. It cannot be coincidence." Lira nodded, feeling the tension rise. The Nebra expanse had been considered a safe region, rarely visited, with no known enemies. "And now, every world that was gone from contact, we have to investigate immediately," Lira said, her voice calm but firm. "Prepare a team. We need to find out what is happening before it spreads further." Technicians scrambled to gather ships, weapons, and supplies. Pilots checked their engines, while scientists packed scanning equipment. Lira knew that time was against them. Every second that passed could mean another planet disappearing into the unknown. As the first human ships lifted off from Orvex, the sky darkened with shadows. Not clouds, but something moving faster than any known craft. Lira watched through the observation window, heart beating faster. A faint glimmer flashed at the edge of the atmosphere, then disappeared. Was it a ship, a meteor, or something alive? She did not know, but instinct told her it was dangerous. The journey to the first silent planet was long, but quiet. The crew spoke in whispers, scanning space for energy readings. Lira stayed in the command chair, eyes fixed on the starfield. Nothing moved, yet the emptiness felt alive. Then a signal appeared on the sensors, faint but steady. The alien code from the Nebra expanse had followed them. The coordinates were direct, pointing to a planet that had once been filled with life and laughter. Now it was silent. As the ship approached, the crew could see the planet in detail. Cities stood intact, towers stretching toward the sky, but no lights glowed. No movement stirred in the streets. The silence was complete, heavy and suffocating. Lira felt a chill she had never known. Something had taken the people and left nothing but stillness. A whisper of wind carried through the empty streets, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Lira turned to the crew, her eyes hard. "We will find the answers," she said. "Whatever caused this will not escape us." Outside the viewport, stars reflected off the abandoned city like diamonds scattered across black velvet. And somewhere in the distance a faint light flickered, pulsing, waiting. The silence had descended, and humanity's harmless reputation would soon be tested. The human ship drifted silently above the abandoned planet. Commander Lira stared through the large viewport, her eyes scanning the empty cities below. The streets were wide, perfect and still. Shops were open, machines hummed quietly, but there was no one alive. It was as if everyone had vanished in a single heartbeat. Lira felt the weight of unease pressing down on her. Something unnatural had happened here, and she needed answers. The crew moved cautiously. Taro, the young scientist, carried portable scanners through the corridors. He whispered to Lira, "Commander, there are traces of energy readings, but no life signatures. It's like they vanished instantly." Lira nodded, her mind racing. The humans had always been explorers, curious about every world. But curiosity had never led them to this level of danger. The first step onto the planet's surface was eerie. The air was still, carrying the faint smell of metal and ozone. Lira adjusted her helmet and looked at her team. "Stay close," she said. "Scan everything, record everything, and do not touch anything that looks unusual." The team spread out, scanning buildings, parks, and streets. Everywhere they went, the silence pressed on them like a living thing. They found the first sign of struggle near a marketplace. Small machines were tipped over, carts left as if their owners had walked away in a hurry. A faint scorch mark on the ground suggested some kind of energy weapon had been used. But there were no bodies, no blood, no trace of anyone alive. Lira frowned. Whoever or whatever did this had left no trace of people, only a memory of them as the team moved further. Shadows seemed to move at the edges of their vision. Taro froze. "Commander, did you see that?" he asked. Lira turned, but there was nothing, just a street lamp swaying slightly in the wind. "Keep moving," she said firmly, though her gut told her they were being watched. Something was here, and it was aware of them. They reached the city center, where a tall tower rose above everything else. The sensors pulsed faster. Lira approached carefully. The building was intact, but the lights flickered strangely. She reached for the door, but before she could open it, a strange hum filled the air. It was low and constant, vibrating through the ground and the air. The crew stopped, frozen. The hum grew louder, and it felt as if the planet itself was breathing. Then the first warning appeared. The screens of their portable devices started flashing strange symbols, the same alien code from the Nebra expanse. Lira studied the patterns. "It's a message," she said quietly, "but not one we can read." Yet the symbols pulsed like a heartbeat, and the sound of the hum matched the rhythm. The team felt fear creeping in, a fear unlike anything they had known. Suddenly movement appeared. Shadows flickered along the walls of the buildings, disappearing as soon as anyone turned to look. Machines that were supposed to be powered off started moving slowly, floating through the air in patterns that made no sense. The crew gripped their weapons, but there was no target, only the feeling that eyes were everywhere, watching, waiting. Taro approached a device on the ground, a small cube covered in symbols. As he touched it, the cube emitted a flash of light. Lira shouted, "Step back!" The flash faded, leaving a ripple in the air, like reality itself had bent. The team felt a chill, as if the planet was alive and warning them to leave. Despite the fear, Lira pressed forward. She knew the humans could not run from this. They had always faced the unknown, and this would be no different. "We need to find what caused this," she said. "If we leave empty-handed, other planets will vanish too." The crew nodded, trying to mask their fear. But each step felt heavier than the last. As they entered a large plaza, they found the most disturbing sight yet. Statues of humans, perfectly carved, stood in mid-motion, frozen forever. It was like watching memories turn to stone. Some statues held tools, others held children. Their faces showed surprise, fear, even hope, as if the planet itself had captured their last moments. Lira felt a shiver run down her spine. Something had the power to trap life, to erase it from the world, and leave only echoes. Then a sound broke the silence, a soft whisper carried by the wind. It was a wordless sound, but it felt alive. The crew turned, but saw nothing. The hum grew stronger, vibrating through the ground, through the air, through their bones. Lira felt the presence of something vast, something older than humans, something that had waited for this moment. She stepped forward and touched one of the statues, feeling cold stone under her fingers. But then the statue's eyes glowed faintly, and a pulse of energy ran through her arm. Lira stumbled back, heart racing. The statue remained still, but she knew the planet had awakened something. The team gathered quickly. "We need to report this immediately," Lira said. "Whatever this is, it is not harmless, and it is not done yet." Outside, the city lay quiet, but the shadows moved at the edges of perception. The crew did not know if they would survive the night, or if the silence would take them next. The first encounter had begun, and humanity's reputation for being harmless would soon be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. The crew returned to the ship, silence weighing heavily on them. Commander Lira stood at the bridge, staring at the stars. The planet below still glowed faintly in the distance, its empty cities haunting her thoughts. She had expected abandoned streets, maybe some natural disaster, but nothing like this. No people, no struggle, only shadows and whispers. Something had erased life itself, and she knew it could happen again. Inside the ship, tension grew among the crew. Some whispered about retreat, others demanded they investigate further. Taro, the young scientist, paced back and forth. "Commander, we cannot ignore this," he said. "If something can erase an entire colony, it can reach others. We have to act now." Lira nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. Every human colony was connected, and every delay could cost more lives. As they analyzed the data from the first planet, another layer of fear emerged. Hidden in the planet's ruins were signals from human military operations unknown to the public. Plans for advanced weapon systems, defensive fleets, and secret research programs were buried within encrypted transmissions. Humanity, harmless on the surface, had layers of hidden strength. Lira realized that the galaxy's view of humans as peaceful explorers was incomplete. "We have been underestimated," Lira said quietly. "Not just by others, but even by ourselves." The crew looked at her, understanding the meaning. Humans were curious, friendly, and harmless, but they also carried hidden knowledge and power. If used wisely, it could defend them against the unknown. But if misused, it could lead to destruction. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The sensors detected movement. Shadows flickered on the walls of the ship, and energy readings spiked. Lira grabbed the controls, scanning for threats. There was nothing visible, but the energy pulses were strong, deliberate, intelligent. Someone or something was observing them, testing their response. Taro studied the readings, brow furrowed. "Commander, these pulses, they're not random. They are patterns, almost like communication. But it is not from any species we know." Lira's eyes narrowed. "It is learning from us." Watching how humans react, the thought made her uneasy. Humans had always been observers, but now they were being observed in return. Conflict erupted among the crew. Some wanted to focus on studying the energy patterns. Others demanded immediate attack protocols. Weapons were readied, shields raised, and panic mixed with determination. Lira stood between them, voice firm. "We will not act out of fear. We will act with strategy. Humanity may be underestimated, but we are not helpless." As arguments continued, the ship trembled slightly. A strange light appeared on the main viewport. It was distant at first, a tiny flicker in the void. Then it grew. The crew watched in silence as a fleet of unknown ships appeared, moving with precision and speed beyond human engineering. They circled the planet they had just visited, scanning, observing, waiting. Lira felt a chill. "They're not attacking yet," she said. "They are measuring us, learning us. We have one chance to respond correctly." The crew worked quickly, preparing defensive maneuvers and scanning the alien fleet. Every action was met with a reaction from the unknown presence, as if the ships themselves were alive and thinking. In the midst of preparations, Taro discovered something alarming. The signals from the alien ships matched patterns found on the abandoned planet. "Commander, these ships, they are connected to what happened below. They caused the silence, but they also left clues." Lira realized the implication. Whoever or whatever this was, they had intelligence, patience, and strategy. Humanity's harmless reputation would be tested in ways no one had imagined. Then came the first attack on the mind rather than the body. The ship's internal systems began flickering. Lights dimmed, doors locked, and strange sounds echoed through the corridors. Crew members felt unease, dizziness, and fear creeping in. It was not physical damage, but psychological. The alien presence could affect perception, making humans doubt themselves, fear one another, even fight amongst themselves. Lira stood firm, rallying the crew. "This is a test, not a surrender. Remember who we are. Humanity may seem harmless, but we survive. We adapt, and we fight when needed." Her words steadied them. Humans had a history of overcoming impossible odds, and now that history was their shield, as the first night above the silent planet passed, the crew prepared for what lay ahead. Shadows still flickered outside the ship, and the hum of energy pulses never stopped. Lira knew one truth clearly. Humanity's true face was about to emerge. The galaxy had called them harmless, but that perception would end tonight, and somewhere beyond the stars. The silent watchers learned just how far humans could go when pushed. The ship hovered above the silent planet, lights reflecting off its smooth surface. Commander Lira stared at the ruins below, her mind restless. Every abandoned street, every empty building was a question with no answer. How could entire colonies vanish without a trace? And why did the alien signals seem so precise, so patient? The more she thought, the more she realized this was not random. Something ancient and intelligent was at work. The team prepared to explore again, but this time with a different purpose. They would not only search for survivors, if there were any, but also for clues about the force that had erased life. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers moved together, scanning streets, parks, and high towers. Machines floated beside them, analyzing energy readings, scanning for life, and mapping the silent city. Every corner, every shadow felt alive, as if the planet itself was watching. In the central plaza, Taro discovered something unexpected. Buried beneath layers of dust and rubble were ruins that did not match human architecture. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, glowing faintly. Energy pulses traveled through the stone, leaving trails that the scanners could detect but not fully interpret. "Commander, look at this," Taro whispered. "This is older than any human colony. These structures, they are ancient." Lira approached, eyes narrowing. The ruins seemed to hum with life. Even in the absence of people, the energy was active, as if memories of the past had been stored in the stone itself. She traced her fingers along a symbol, feeling a subtle vibration. It was as though the planet remembered what had happened here. The echoes of lives once lived, and the presence that had taken them. Suddenly, a vision appeared, not fully visible, but flashes of movement, figures running, machines falling, and a force sweeping through the cities. Lira stepped back, heart racing. The ruins were not just old, they were a record of destruction. Each pulse of energy carried a story, the final moments of planets erased by the unknown enemy. Humanity had stumbled upon something more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The team split up, exploring buildings that were still intact. Inside one tower, they found recordings, not of humans, but of the alien presence itself. Light patterns and sounds combined to form images that were almost alive. The humans could sense intelligence, strategy, and patience. This was not a mindless attack. The enemy had studied life for centuries, understanding it, predicting it, and now testing humanity like a final experiment. While examining the recordings, the ship trembled. Energy pulses shot through the ground and into the structure, causing the walls to vibrate. The crew regrouped, realizing that the planet itself was a trap, or perhaps a message. Lira realized the enemy had anticipated humans would come looking for answers. They had left these ruins, the echoes of the fallen, to prepare them or to warn them. A shadow moved across the plaza outside, too fast for human eyes to follow. Lira aimed her weapon but saw nothing. The hum from the ruins grew louder, almost like it was speaking directly to her mind. Taro's scanners went wild, energy readings spiking in patterns that mimicked human heartbeats. The planet was alive in a way they could not fully understand. It remembered, and it waited as night fell over the abandoned city. The crew gathered in the plaza. Their flashlights cut through darkness, but shadows moved where light could not reach. Lira spoke softly, but her voice carried authority. "We are not here to fight blindly. We are here to understand. If we can learn from these ruins, maybe we can stop the next planet from falling silent." The crew nodded, though fear was clear in their eyes. Humanity's strength had always been in knowledge and adaptation. Now that knowledge was their only shield. Then came the first attack, or at least the first real sign of it. From the edge of the city, faint energy waves rippled through the ground. Buildings shook as if invisible fingers pushed against them. The shadows in the plaza lengthened unnaturally, moving toward the crew, and the hum became a voice, a low whisper repeating in patterns, "They are coming! They are coming!" Lira gripped her weapon. "Get ready. Whatever is here, it is testing us. And now we will see what humanity is capable of." The crew braced themselves, hearts pounding as the ruins pulsed with energy, showing flashes of planets that had fallen silent. Lives erased and shadows moving across the stars. Humanity had entered a challenge they did not fully understand, a game where every move could mean survival or erasure. And in the darkness, something watched. The ancient watchers had waited long enough, and now humanity was no longer just a curiosity. They were a variable in a test older than the stars. The human ship streaked across the void, engines humming as it left the silent planet behind. Commander Lira's hands gripped the controls, eyes scanning every flicker of the star field. Behind them, distant shadows moved faster than any known craft. The alien fleet from the ruins had followed, silent but relentless, studying every maneuver. Humanity had barely touched the danger, and already it had come alive. Inside the ship, tension was high. The crew worked quickly, scanning, analyzing, and preparing defensive systems. Taro monitored energy readings, shouting updates. "Commander, they are adapting to our speed and direction. Every move we make, they predict it." Lira nodded, jaw tight. This was no ordinary enemy. They were intelligent, patient, and unyielding. The first warning came as a pulse of energy struck the ship. Lights flickered and a low hum vibrated through the hull. Crew members stumbled, trying to maintain balance. Weapon systems powered down for a brief moment, then came back online. "They are testing us," Lira said, voice calm but firm. "Every hit, every pulse, it is a measure of our limits." The crew braced themselves, realizing that fleeing would not be enough. They had to outsmart a foe that could anticipate their every move. The alien ships were not far behind. Shadows on the sensors moved in perfect formation, circling, probing for weaknesses. Lira adjusted their trajectory, weaving through asteroid fields, dodging energy bursts, and calculating the next jump through space. Each decision carried weight. One mistake could mean destruction amid the chaos. Taro discovered something remarkable. The pulses from the alien fleet were not random. They carried a pattern. "Commander, these pulses, they are testing our responses. But if we reverse the sequence, we might create a blind spot." Lira studied the data, nodding. "Prepare the maneuver. This is our chance." Every crew member understood the risk. One wrong calculation could make them targets, but this was humanity's chance to strike back. The ship dove into an asteroid belt, engines pushing through dense fields of rock and ice. Alien ships followed, but the pulses confused their sensors, creating small gaps. For a brief moment, the humans gained distance. Cheers erupted, but Lira knew it was temporary. The alien presence was patient. It would not give up easily. Suddenly, one ship emerged from the shadows, larger than the others. Its hull glowed with alien energy, and it emitted a pulse that caused the human ship's systems to stutter. Crew members gripped consoles, struggling to maintain control. Lira's mind raced. Target it, but don't fire blindly. We need a strategy, not luck. Missiles locked onto the alien vessel, but just as they fired, the ship shifted, warping energy around itself and evading the attack effortlessly. The chase intensified. Stars blurred as the human ship and alien fleet moved faster than light sensors could track. Taro shouted, "Commander, they are studying our reactions, learning our tactics. Every move we make, they know it before we do." Lira tightened her grip, realizing that this pursuit was more than a battle. It was a test of humanity's intelligence, patience, and courage. Hours passed like minutes. The crew was exhausted, but they refused to give up. Lira watched the stars, searching for any advantage. Then a thought struck her. We need to lure them toward the Nebra expanse. The terrain there is unstable. We can use it to create chaos in their formation. The crew understood immediately. This was a gamble, but it was their only chance to survive. With careful maneuvers, the ship turned toward the expanse, weaving through gravitational anomalies and asteroid clusters. The alien fleet followed, predictable but relentless. Energy pulses lashed against the hull, testing limits, probing for weaknesses. Lira kept the ship steady, heart pounding every second, a test of skill and nerve. Then the plan worked. The alien ships hit the first anomalies, their formation disrupted. One collided with a floating rock, another's engines destabilized. Humanity had bought a small advantage, enough to gain precious distance and rethink their strategy. Cheers erupted, but Lira remained focused. "This is not over," she said. "They are intelligent, patient, and stronger than we imagined. We have survived the first test, but the challenge is just beginning." The human ship soared into the darkness of space, engines blazing, carrying a crew exhausted but unbroken. Shadows lingered at the edge of sensors, distant and silent, watching, waiting for the next move. Humanity had survived the chase, but the stars were full of dangers they had not yet seen, and somewhere beyond the expanse. The alien presence studied them, learning, calculating, and preparing for the next encounter. The human ship drifted through the dark void, engines low but steady, as Commander Lira studied the alien fleet on the sensors. Hours of chasing had taught them one clear truth. These enemies were patient, intelligent, and relentless. They anticipated every move, every escape attempt. But humanity had something the aliens did not: adaptability, cunning, and determination. Inside the ship, the crew worked feverishly. Engineers recalibrated weapon systems, scientists analyzed alien energy pulses, and strategists mapped out maneuvers across multiple sectors. Every second counted. Lira turned to Taro, who was monitoring the alien fleet. "We know their pattern now," she said quietly. "They study us, they learn us. But we can use that against them." The plan was risky. Humanity would no longer run. They would fight, but strategically. Using advanced cloaking, decoys, and energy manipulation, the crew began setting traps. Smaller human ships, hidden by sensor shadows, scattered across the nebula, ready to strike at weak points in the alien formation. Lira knew that direct confrontation would be dangerous. Humans had to be smart, precise, and unpredictable. The first strike came suddenly. One alien ship approached what looked like an unguarded corridor between asteroid clusters. Missiles and energy pulses fired from hidden human ships, catching it off guard. The alien vessel twisted and evaded, but the humans had learned to predict its movement. A second pulse hit, disabling part of its engines. Cheers erupted on the human ship, but Lira kept her focus. "This is only the beginning," she warned. The battle escalated quickly. Alien ships attempted flanking maneuvers, but humans used decoys to split their forces. Energy shields absorbed some attacks, while countermeasures disrupted alien targeting systems. The crew discovered that the alien ships were not just physical. They responded to intelligence, reacting to tactics as if the fleet itself was alive. Lira realized they needed to be unpredictable, creative, and daring. In the chaos, a startling discovery was made. Hidden within the alien formation were energy nodes glowing faintly. Taro studied them and gasped. "Commander, these nodes, they are controlling the fleet. If we disable them, we can disrupt their entire system." Lira's eyes narrowed. "Then that is what we will do. Prepare a strike team. This is humanity's chance to show what we are capable of." The human ships moved in unison, precise and coordinated. Energy pulses hit the nodes, destabilizing shields and communications within the alien fleet. One by one, the alien vessels faltered, their formations collapsing. Humanity's reputation for harmlessness had been shattered by ingenuity, speed, and strategy. Humans were proving they could fight, adapt, and survive against a force older and stronger than they had imagined. Even as victory seemed within reach, a new message appeared across the human senses. Alien symbols formed a warning: "You have won only the first trial." "The right planet has not been touched yet." Lira read the message carefully, her face hard. Humanity had survived, but the test was not over. The real challenge was coming, and it would push them beyond anything they had faced. Taro looked at Lira, eyes wide. "Commander, we've proven something. Humanity can fight, but the message means they have more planned." Lira nodded slowly. "Yes, we've shown strength, but the galaxy is full of dangers. We will need courage, intelligence, and unity for the battles ahead." As the alien fleet retreated, the human ships regrouped, engines sparking and systems rebooting. The crew breathed deeply, knowing they had survived an impossible trial. Humanity had struck back, showing power hidden beneath a facade of harmlessness. Every human had risen to the challenge, proving intelligence, bravery, and resilience. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Somewhere the next planet waited, its silence ready to test humanity again. Lira stood at the viewport, eyes fixed on the void. She knew this was not the end. The alien presence would learn, adapt, and return. But so would humans. And when the next trial came, they would meet it with strategy, courage, and unbroken will. The galaxy had called them harmless. The galaxy would soon learn the truth. Humanity was dangerous when pushed. Humanity was resilient. Humanity would fight back. The stars stretched endlessly before Commander Lira and her crew. The human fleet was ready, systems primed and weapons calibrated. Every ship, every crew member had survived the previous trials, but they knew the ultimate challenge lay ahead. The alien presence that had erased entire planets was still out there, waiting, calculating, testing. Humanity's reputation as harmless explorers had ended. Now they were hunters and defenders at once. The silent planet that had sent the alien warning appeared on the sensors. Its surface was dark, empty, and ominous. Energy readings pulsed steadily like a heartbeat, marking the presence of something vast, something ancient. Lira's hands tightened on the controls. "This is it," she said. "Whatever is controlling these fleets, whatever erased those worlds, it ends here, or we do." The fleet moved forward, silent but ready. The alien forces appeared, emerging from shadows in perfect formation. They were massive, glowing with energy that seemed alive, pulsating with power that dwarfed human technology. But humans were not afraid. They had learned to adapt, to strike strategically, to fight with brains and courage rather than brute force alone. The first clash was violent. Energy beams streaked across the void. Ships dodged and countered. Explosions lit up space like fireworks. Every human maneuver was precise, every strike calculated to exploit weaknesses. Lira coordinated attacks, using decoys and energy pulses to confuse the alien formation. The crew moved as one, their training and courage pushing them beyond exhaustion. Amid the battle, Lira noticed the energy nodes controlling the alien fleet. They pulsed with life, almost like brains directing each ship. "Target the nodes," she shouted. Missiles and energy blasts hit simultaneously, shattering the alien control points. One by one, ships faltered, lost coordination, and drifted powerless in space. Humanity's ingenuity had disrupted the alien system, yet the battle was not over. From the shadows, a massive alien vessel emerged. It moved with purpose, energy flaring around it, dwarfing any human ship. The fleet hesitated, but Lira stayed calm. "Focus fire on the core, keep shields up and protect the fleet," she commanded. Humans had discovered their strength, not in power alone, but in intelligence, coordination, and courage. Under pressure, missiles and energy pulses struck the alien vessel's core. It shook violently, energy flickering, shields collapsing. Crew members braced themselves as the vessel emitted a deafening pulse, a scream that shook the fleet. But then it shattered, exploding into fragments that drifted silently through the stars. Humanity had broken the final barrier. The silent planet beneath them seemed to exhale, its energy pulsing, fading slowly. Life signals returned faintly in sensors from nearby colonies that had been cut off. The emptiness was no longer absolute. Humanity had survived, had fought, and had changed the galaxy's perception forever. Lira looked at her crew, proud and exhausted. "We have survived," she said, voice steady. "We have shown what humanity truly is. Harmless no longer. We fight, we adapt, and we endure." The crew nodded, a mixture of relief and awe written on every face. They had faced an enemy older and stronger than any human, and they had won through strategy, courage, and unity. But as they celebrated, a distant flicker appeared on the sensors. Another planet untouched, glittering faintly in the void. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "The galaxy is not done testing us," she said. "The silence may return, but so will we. Humanity will not be stopped." The fleet turned toward the stars, engines glowing, ready for whatever came next. Shadows still lingered at the edges of space, silent watchers waiting to learn. But humans had proven a hard truth. When pushed, humanity was unstoppable, and somewhere across the galaxy, a whisper carried through the void. "They are not harmless. They are dangerous." The silence had been broken, and humanity's legend had begun.